So many people get tripped up on this question, so what do you do? And for the longest time, this was me as well. I had this really squiggly career and I had loads of different jobs. And so when someone would ask me, so what do you do? I kind of wanted to crawl under the table because I didn't know how to answer it in a way that was succinct and effective and captured all of the things that I did. So if these are the 5 words that also make you spiral, this video is for you. I'm going to give you 3 frameworks that will make you actually love this question, that will make you actually look forward to answering this question. I know that sounds impossible, but stick with me. So firstly, why on earth do we hate this question? What is it about? So what do you do? Well, this question was designed for a world where everyone had one job title for life. You went to school, you picked one thing, you went deeper and deeper and deeper, more and more and more narrow. But if you are a generalist, like me, like the thousands of people we help at Generalist World, this just isn't you. That is just not how your brain, that is just not how your life has panned out. So there's 3 mistakes that I see people make when they answer this question. The first is the resume dump. That's like listing everything. And it's like, I do marketing and product. Oh, and I have the side project and you can see the person trying to do the mental gymnastics of trying to be like, what do they do? I don't understand. The second mistake I see people make is they minimize, they dilute what they do. So they're like, I don't know how to explain everything, so I'm going to explain this tiny wee bit of what I do. You pick one thing and you shrink yourself and you say, oh, I work in marketing. But that's like 30% of what you do. And it kind of feels inauthentic or even a lie to not say the truth, the fullness of what you do. And then the third thing, which I was so guilty of, is you are an apologizer. So you're like, oh, it's complicated, or it sounds a little bit weird, but, so you start by apologizing for having this rich career. Okay, so let's get into some frameworks. So instead of listing everything, we're going to come up with an umbrella. So an umbrella is something that encompasses the things that you do. You're not trying to go into the detail. All you're trying to do is to get someone to lean in. You're trying to get someone to say, tell me more about that. You're trying to give them enough sauce, enough juice that they want to explore more with you. So some examples I've got here. I help companies figure out what's not working and then I help them fix it. Or I build things from 0 to 1, products, teams, communities, and really helps if you can give an example. E.g., I built Generalist World from 0 to 1, 0 to 100,000 followers across all of our networks. You might say something like, I'm the person who they call when nobody knows whose job it is. And something like that is fantastic because we all know that person. Right? We all know that person in the company where you're like, oh my gosh, it's on fire and we don't know how to fix it. Let's call Millie. Let's call you. So firstly, practice, get comfortable, share what your umbrella might be in the comments. I would like to start to hear them. Framework number 2 is the context switcher. So you do not need one perfect answer to the question, so what do you do? You're going to have a portfolio of answers. You're going to have a smorgasbord of answers. It depends who you're speaking to, whether you're speaking to someone at a party or a recruiter or a client or your auntie at Christmas. These are going to be different answers to help them understand, to bring them along on the journey of what do you do. Okay, so I've got some more examples for you. So at a party, you want to lead with the most intriguing thing. So I might say, I run a media company for people who do not fit in a box at work. And then from there, someone would say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean to not fit in a box at work? If you're speaking to someone like a recruiter, You might want to mirror their language and you want to lead with what matches their role. Now, people often feel deep resistance to this because they feel like they are putting themselves into a box or diluting or basically just like not being their full selves. I kind of think of this as a Trojan horse. And what I mean by that is sometimes if you see a job description and you're like, yes, I know I can do this with my eyes closed, you have to play the game a little bit. And what I mean by Trojan horse is lead with what they want. And then once you get in there, you can be your full, weird, broad, squiggly self. But sometimes you just got to get your foot in the door by playing the game that the recruiter wants you to play. A client, when you're speaking to a client, the easiest way to talk about what you do is to lead with outcomes. So for example, I help X, so the type of person that you help, do result. I help generalists land jobs that they love. I help founders write content that resonates, as some examples. And then your auntie. At Christmas, I don't know why this one is the hardest one, but I like to think of this as leading with something that she can tell her friend, something that makes sense enough that she can retell her friend. So I'm not going to be like, I helped B2B SaaS go from Series D to $15 million. You know, you're not going to get into those kind of details where she's like, you just spoke another language. You want to present probably like the simplest, most straightforward version. So it could be like, oh, I help people who have unusual careers. Done. That's enough for her to say, what do you mean? Tell me more. But it's not so much that it's like going to like really confuse her. Okay, so this is kind of like a bonus one. This was what I call the plot twist. So instead of answering the question with the 3 examples I just gave you, you can actually flip it on them. So you can either ask them first, what do you need? What's your biggest problem right now? What's giving you a headache? What are you excited about? Ask them first, and then you can cater your answer to whatever they say. And so this shifts the conversation from you like defending your career to them realizing, this person might be exactly what I need. Because generalists, we are problem solvers. So let someone hand you their problem. And then the key point is to tell a real story. Tell them about a time you used this and it led to an opportunity. When you hear what their problem is, go through your portfolio of incredible generalist experiences, pick one out and be like, you know what? This is how I've been through that. Gosh, yeah, man, that was so difficult. Do you know how I got through it? And also acknowledge that, these different frameworks, some might be too intense for a dinner party, some might be too casual. So the idea is you really just want to be able to get that lean in. Okay, so the reason that this question feels so hard is not because you are just bad at answering it. It's because the question is outdated and it just doesn't suit you. So the future of work, I believe, is generalists specifically using AI, generalists specifically using technology. It's about these people who are able to connect dots, who are about to adapt, who are able to operate in ambiguity. And that is you. That is you. If you have got to this far in this video, that is likely you. And so what I would love you to do is drop a comment in the comments and tell me one of your one-liners. Tell me how you might, which line you might pull out to speak with a recruiter, to tell your auntie at Christmas. Practice, literally practice in the comments. I can also give you feedback in the comments. So if you are just finding us for the first time and you're like, what kind of generalist am I? We actually made a free quiz that will help you figure this out. And I think over 41,000 people have now taken it. It'll take you 5 minutes and it is in the description below.